the right carriage post assembly. We've got all of the parts set out on the table. We'll first start with the post itself. So this is the right carriage post. Notice that this is the long side, this is the short side. The short side actually goes down, and we've got two concealed end fasteners that come in on this side. So we'll get them screwed in a little bit. There's the second one. Both of the end nuts are longitudinal with the post. They're both on the short side. Now those will slide right in. Now notice this is the right crossbar. It is exactly the same as the left crossbar. We have two 1/4-inch holes drilled at this end, and so you can use either this one or the other one depending on which one you've selected first. The right carriage post then slides in. Once the concealed end nuts are aligned, you can take the hex key and tighten those down to give us a very strong right angle structure. So we'll take, you can't tighten each one sort of after the other. We'll come down. Now, before you build the frame, it's necessary to put on the posts, and in particular this right carriage post, because the frame part will come beneath, and of course if you already had that in place, you would not be able to tighten the carriage post assembly in place. So let me go ahead and tighten that. Fairly tight. Okay, now what I should have mentioned was that the boost plate, which you'll notice here, if you're using a metric size long bar, let me grab one of those, the boost plate. If you are, the boost plate would install between the right crossbar and the right carriage post, and beneath that, right in the position between the concealed end fastener and the bottom of the right carriage post. Depending on if you are using, this is an inch section, and this is which is 1 inch in height and 3 inches in width. This, however, is a 30 by 60 millimeter T-slot extrusion, and as this just raises up a bit, and the boost plate, what the boost plate does is just slightly increase the height of the right carriage post to allow for using a long bar, a metric long bar, in this case a 30-inch height. So keep that in mind. For now, I'll just set the boost plate aside since we're using the long bar, the 3 by 1 inch long bar. So let's take the two brass bearings, insert one on this side, the other in the other side. Our shaft, so this is 4-inch shaft through the middle. You want to be slightly careful to make sure there are not any burrs there. They should all be cleaned up. The machining was done fairly. Okay, so we've got the two nylon washers, and they'll bear directly against the brass bearing. Of course, on this end, we'll use our hex key that we already have. That was supplied with the kit. This is the shaft collar, of course. Shaft collar on the outside. We can lock that down like so. It's a 12 millimeter shaft and a 12 millimeter shaft collar. Here is the gear, the carriage gear. We have two hex screws, which I'll back out, and that should slide right on there like so. We do have a little bit extra left over. That's perfectly fine. I'm now going to tighten down the carriage gear onto the carriage shaft. Lock those down. Now for a little, a very rugged, sort of solid rotation. Now for purely cosmetic purposes, And to close off the top of the right carriage post, I'm just going to put on the black thumb screws and the decorative there. And there you have it, the right carriage post.